Welcome to Noble, a network of owners, business leaders, and entrepreneurs. Here, we focus on the 5 stages of business: launching an idea, establishing a business, hiring employees, creating leaders, and then expanding your impact. We hope you enjoy today's session.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Glad to be here and thankful for our partnership with Noble through the years. When we started our networking group back in 2013 in the city of Dublin, it's a partnership with Chaz and now with Noble as we continue to grow forward and expand globally. It's exciting to see the impact that we're making throughout the world and being able to help people grow businesses as a natural byproduct of all the connections that we make. But background, a little bit extra background for those that don't know me. I was very shy and introverted, so it's not networking is not something that was natural for me. I had to learn it because I was looking for a better way to grow business, a way that was more sustainable, and that I just didn't. I don't know about you, but I don't like rejection. I hated getting rejection. It would cause me to avoid a lot of situations that would have been positive, that would have been beneficial. But I avoided it because I didn't want that rejection. So when I started networking, as I grew into it, I started by initially prospecting because I didn't know the difference of between networking and prospecting. So I was actually prospecting when I first started going to events, which meant that I was really going because I ran out of people to talk to, and I was looking for people I could meet, set a sales appointment with, and be able to do a presentation. That was the goal. That's what I was taught, that the more presentations you do, it's a numbers game, the more sales you'll get. And I agree with that to a certain extent, that it is a numbers game. However, I feel like just because you're getting no's doesn't necessarily mean you're getting closer to that yes. If your offer is wrong, if your audience is wrong, or if you're just coming across as a way that's not attracting people to where they have that trust and where you have that influence. And so started networking, learning. And then as I continued to learn and grow, I discovered that everyone is there for a reason, and it wasn't to buy from me. Everyone has a product or a service that they're offering or a message they want to get out into the marketplace. And when I stopped focusing on myself and what other people needed, it allowed me to, number one, relax because I wasn't so worried about my pitch. It also allowed me to create a lot stronger connections much quicker because I was actually listening and getting to learn about other people. And as I did that, I said, okay, I think there's something here. So I started teaching people a year later. And then from there, we started, the trainings. And then after the trainings, I realized, okay, now people know what they're doing, but they're still not getting the results I believe they can get. And it was also very difficult to track, how do you know that you're building relationships? We understand conceptually that we should be building relationships, but what exactly does that look like? What does it mean to build relationships? What are the steps that we take? And what do we talk about if they don't want our services or our products? And that's where what we're talking about today is how to continue building those relationships in a digital world where as connected as we are now, like this, we're probably, if we ask everyone where we're all from, we're from all over the country and we're separated by distance, but we can be here today. We're connected with people on social media globally, with people all over the world. So we have access to people, but why are we still so disconnected? Why is it still so difficult to meet and to create genuine relationships? And we're going to share something today that'll help with all of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my slides, and we have interactive slides today, which means instead of putting your phones away, you're actually going to take your phones out to participate in the slides. So go ahead and take your camera and point it at the QR code on the left. That'll take you into our interactive slide session today. And once you're in, then go ahead and give me a thumbs up or a heart or some kind of emoji in the app, so that way I know that you're here and I could see that you're participating with us. So whether you're joining us, actually everyone here is joining remotely, but if you're watching the replay, you won't be able to do this live, but you can follow along and still learn from it. So yeah, once you're in the app, go ahead and give a thumbs up or some kind of indicator to let me know that you are inside the app.
Hey, Chris, my phone, for some reason, my regular camera, not the selfie style, will not work right now. Is there a way to do this without scanning the QR code?
Yes, good question. So right here, I don't know if you can you see my
Yeah.
cursor?
Yeah.
So right here where my cursor is,
Yep.
this is the URL. So just put ahaslides.com/ID. I think that's a 0 UC. It looks like it's 0 instead of a O.
Hey,
Can
Chris.
you? Oh,
Oh, sorry. This is Jerry. I'm in transit, so I'm in my car. So forgive me. I won't be able to participate. Well, I assume you don't want me to participate if I'm driving in the interactive part, but I will be actively listening.
Yep, that'll work just fine. That'll work just fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for not driving and participating in interactive slides. All right, excellent. Do we need more time? Is everybody good?
Do we need to then log in, it looks like, maybe?
Yeah, just go ahead and log in and then you
Okay.
should be in the slide presentation. All right, so the first one, all of your answers will pop up here on the screen so we can see. Number one, what are your biggest challenges in building meaningful business relationships? I'm going to unlock it. You'll have a minute. You could put up to 3 answers, I believe, and then hit submit, and we'll see what some of the challenges that you're facing.
Something's not going quite right with mine. I'm so sorry. You have to
No worries.
go
It's
for a minute
still,
without me.
yeah, it's still on the side. As soon as you join, just go ahead and jump right in.
hey, Chris, can you copy that link there and just drop it in the chat?
Yep.
Thank you. I
Or
tried doing
actually,
it, but I don't think it worked for me. I think I got the
Yeah.
wrong one.
I think,
It started to work and then now I'm getting some other weird, like
hold on, let me try that. I think you got to put,
mine says like BLS certification management course, BLS. So something's not quite right, but could certainly be user error.
I put it in there. Let's try, see that one works. And I'll unlock that again.
Yeah, I just clicked on it. It looks like it should work.
Excellent. All right, so I added some more time to the clock just to make sure everyone can get all of their answers in, because I see people are typing. Let's take a look. We have onslaught. So biggest challenges, onslaught of media. What to say, hesitation, busy schedules, time, connection, worthiness, people getting back to me, having enough people following up. So how many of you see something on here that you didn't answer, but you're like, yep, that's me too. I have the same challenge, right? So oftentimes we face these common challenges. How do we overcome them? Right? It's universal to all of us. Well, most of us have challenges with time and being distracted with social media and all the different things that are hitting us from every direction. What do we say? I mean, like if they don't want our services, and this is one of the challenges I had initially, and some of you might relate to this. As soon as you say what you do for a living, have you ever had somebody like, "Oh, I already know people that do that. Oh, no, I'm all good. I'm set. I'm okay." And if that's already the start, how do you build a relationship when that's the start and there's already rejection and you didn't even like get to go into what you do or get to know them at all? They're already not interested. And that happens so often that we miss out on the actual connections. What we want to focus on is how to build a connection first. And as we do that, people are more interested in what we do, and they'll give us more time to be able to learn about what we do as we do that for them as well. Let's go to the next question. Right. All right, first question. How many touch points does it take to build trust? Everyone's answered. So we've got the correct answer is 5 to 12. So 5 to 12 touch points to build trust. And I want you to think about this. When you look at your social media feed, how many times do you get hit with the same ad? When you watch the Super Bowl or a major sporting event, how many times do you see the same exact car commercial or the same exact drink commercial or whatever it happens to be? Why do you think they do it so repetitively over and over and over again? Because it's familiarity, it's repetition. If you see it just one time, it's not enough to compel somebody to take action. But as you start seeing things more and more often, familiarity builds trust. And so think about it. Somebody that you don't know at all, or a friend you meet for the first time, a friend might say, oh, you know what? I don't know about that guy. You know, I don't know about that person, right? And so think about the words that they use when you just meet somebody, like, I don't know about them. So when you don't know about somebody, you don't trust them. The more you know about somebody, the more you trust them. And that's where you can utilize social media, you can utilize frequency, you could be in front of people more often. And even if you haven't met them, but you've seen them often, you tend to trust them more. So that's just an example. But if we can't do that from the beginning, if they're already rejecting us from the beginning and not wanting to talk to us, how do we get to the 5 to 12? And that's a challenge that will help you overcome today. Next. Question number 2. What's the best first step to build a new relationship? Best first step to build a new relationship. Everyone has answered. So best first step in a new relationship is connecting on social media. So the reason why connecting on social media is because it allows us to continue getting to know the person and for them to get to know us as well. In the business world, I highly recommend LinkedIn. If you're not using LinkedIn, it's literally one of the most underutilized tools in growing your business. It's literally the only social media platform where you have all of your business resume, so to speak, of everything you've done, what you do currently. You have everything on there. There's no other platform out there that features all of the things that you do on the business standpoint. Instagram doesn't do that. Facebook doesn't do that. TikTok doesn't do that. There's ways to gain followers and business through those methods, but LinkedIn is the most direct way to actually get to know people. If you're connected on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those other things, it's good as well. Because remember, the key is to build a relationship first. And as you get to know the person or about the person, it breeds trust. So if you're going to do business with somebody, chances are you're going to look up their social media. Haven't you all done that before? Maybe your friend's going to go out with somebody and you're like, oh, let me check out what this person's about. Let me see who this person is, right? You start spying on them and you want to get some intel. You want to find out more about who this person is besides what they say they are. And you can usually tell a little bit, not everything about the person, but a little bit by their presence on social media. So I like to do social media connections as the first step because it's the same reason why I like people to do introductions for each other. Like if I'm going to introduce two of you to each other and you're strangers to each other, I'm gonna prefer to connect you on LinkedIn or Facebook if you're both on Facebook, and I know that. The reason why is because it's less of a blind date and you can see what this other person's about. So if somebody introduced me somebody via email, it's cool, but they can only share so much. But if they connect me with them on LinkedIn, for example, I'm going to click on their profile. I'm going to learn more about them. They're going to learn more about me. We can have a much more meaningful conversation faster. And like I said, it's less of a blind date. I can say, oh, I see why they introduce why they're introducing us. It's because we have this in common, or we can collaborate on this, or we have a common audience. Now, direct message is not a bad thing as long as you use it correctly. So for those that put sending a direct message, not a bad thing. I won't say it's necessarily a wrong answer, but what I was referring to here on the direct message is usually as soon as somebody's starting, they'll go straight into pitch mode. So if you were thinking on direct message, like a nice to meet you, perfect. That's great. But what I'm referring to here when that's not the correct answer is sending the immediate pitch. And how many of you have received that? You connect with somebody, and then as soon as you connect with them, they send you a pitch. They send you their links, all that kind of stuff. All right, so connecting on social media to be able to grow. Cold calling, think about how often do you answer a cold call nowadays, right? So how often do you answer numbers that you don't recognize? So let's go to the next question. So question 3, how often do you engage with your network on social media? All right, very good variety here. So we have anything from rarely to often to daily. And I understand challenges with social media, time. Some people are worried about it becoming, a distraction, which it definitely could be. The way I look at social media is that it's a tool. It's a tool, and it can be used for good or for bad. It can use to build up. It could be used to destroy. It's a tool. It's literally not good or bad by itself, but it's how we use it that makes it good or bad. And there were times in the past where I thought about getting off of social media because of how divisive it is, because of how negative it is. And I realized that it was algorithm. And as I was going to get off there, I said, well, if I get off social media and I'm trying to be positive, then that means they win, meaning the negative people win. What if all the positive people got off social media and we no longer have that platform? That doesn't make sense. It's a tool. We can use it for good. I no longer have that problem because of the algorithm. It just kind of fixes, what you see. And also, I'm not connected with really people that just complain nonstop. Did you know that you could unfollow them, even if you don't want to quite unfriend them because they're still kind of a friend, but you just don't want to see all their ranting? You could actually just unfollow them so you don't see them, but they see your stuff. And the more you engage with people, the more they see you. And again, frequency breeds trust. We're talking about relationship building. So even if you don't talk to somebody, think about all the people on your social media that you haven't personally seen, you haven't talked to. Maybe you're not in the same town or even the same part of the world, but literally you can stay in touch with them and pick up right where you left off. If you were to have a phone call or you saw each other in person, you can literally pick right up because you have been following their journey in life and their family and work and all that kind of stuff. So it's not always about pitching. In fact, it's most of the time not about pitching on social media. It's about actually connecting and just engaging with one another. So if somebody has a birthday or they got a promotion, why not take 5 seconds and like it or comment and say congratulations, and you pop up on their screen. So just an example, I was wishing happy birthdays. It's part of my morning routine. I'll just go through and Facebook tells you the happy birthdays anyway. LinkedIn does that as well. Spend a few minutes, just wish everyone a happy birthday. And then one lady actually made a purchase from a product I was offering many years ago and haven't even been actively marketing it. But she said, hey, are you still offering this service? I said, yes, absolutely. And she's like, well, how do I sign up? Can you send me your link? And she says, yes, the good thing you wished me a happy birthday because it reminded me that I've been thinking about it and it meant to get it. Now, does that happen all the time? No. Is that why I did it? Not really, but I just wanted to wish a happy birthday. But you can see how creating that opportunity to connect is better than if you don't and you just skip past it. So again, it could take time, but how long will it take you to call everyone? What do you think you're going to do to stay in touch with you? You're going to call them? You're going to meet them, personally? That's very difficult to do, and it takes a ton of time, but it doesn't take a lot of time to engage on your social feed. So it's not just about what you create in content. That's part of it, but I think more importantly is engaging with one another. So do that often. So wherever you're at, if you're on a scale of 1 to 10, try to increase it a couple of points to get closer to a 10 of engaging at least a little bit every day, to dedicate some time to make it intentional. All right, next question. Biggest obstacle in scheduling one-to-ones. Biggest obstacle in scheduling one-to-ones. All right. So yeah, no, yeah, I saw that. Aaron, it's not that it's wrong, not that your answer is wrong. So don't take that personally. It's just that it was a quiz format. It's funny you answered like wrong. All right. So what's your biggest obstacle in scheduling one-to-ones? You got fear of rejection, finding the time, following up after the meeting. All reasons why we don't do it. And guess what? If we're not doing one-to-ones, how are we going to be able to develop a stronger relationship? Think about all the people that you're connected with on your phone. Look at your phone list. You have hundreds of people on your phone. Some of you have thousands of people as contacts on your phone. How do you deepen a relationship with them just out of the blue? What's the chances you even think of them or that they're thinking of you? So when it comes to building relationships, building your network, oftentimes you have enough people already within your network to achieve your goals, to be able to make an impact, but you're not using them. So you don't always have to go into the cold market when you're not even utilizing all of your current warm and hot market, the people that are closest to you. Fear of rejection. So that's one thing that I hate. I don't. Most people don't like getting rejected, but fear of rejection is real. But think about this: if you're just getting to know them, how much easier it is rather than trying to think of how you're going to pitch them. Finding the time is about intentionality and carving out space. And that's why I like using electronic calendars, because it provides a time without having the back and forth of, when are you available? How about next Tuesday? Usually Tuesday's good, but no, this Tuesday is not good. But how about Wednesday? No, Wednesday this week's no good, but how about Thursday? And you go back and forth a couple times and you realize that it's just too hard, and then you forget about it or you got distracted and you never made that appointment. So that's happened to you, and you see like tons of time has passed. You're like, oh, I never got together with them. You're missing opportunities. So creating space and having the tools, having an electronic calendar where literally you send somebody your link. If you're not familiar with what that is, you send somebody your link. It's synced to your calendar, whichever you're choosing, which will electronically see what time spots are available, allow the other person to book those available time slots. So it keeps you from having to do that manually. So keep you from having that manual process of looking at what times are available and matching it with theirs. And you know how hard it is to even coordinate times within your own household, let alone yours and somebody else's household and their businesses. And if there's more than two people, it makes it even more difficult. So send your electronic calendar out, let them pick a time, book it. And because of automation, you don't even need to send them reminders. The program does it for you and lets them know that, hey, our time is 24 hours out. It says, I look forward to meeting you tomorrow. And then 1 hour out or 30 minutes before, here's the link to our Zoom call. Looking forward to it. Or if you're going to meet for a coffee or a lunch and you have a calendar for coffees or a lunch somewhere, you could send them a reminder, hey, look forward to seeing you later this afternoon. So all that is automated. So for those of you that have had a lot of no-shows for your appointments, this will help avoid that as well. So you actually get into those one-to-ones, but be creative. So as I was getting busier, one of the things I did years ago was I said, okay, I didn't have time to travel around town and meet people for coffee because it's drive time, it's meeting there, it's going to the next one, all that stuff. So I actually scheduled a Friday morning and I called it Coffee with Chris. And from 9:30 to 1 o'clock, I scheduled everyone back to back using an electronic calendar where they just picked a time. That was the one day of the week that I met people in person. And they would just meet every half hour. Somebody new would come in. I would introduce them to the person I just met with. And so they make a connection, have them exchange business cards, say hello to each other, connect on social. I made sure they did that or gave them the opportunity to. And then I would meet them for a one-to-one. The next person will come in. So a very efficient way to meet several people in one day. So I'm saying that because it's important for you to carve out time. We're talking about building relationships. It doesn't happen without the investment of time. There's no way to build relationship without investing time. And just posting does not build that strong of a relationship. It keeps you, in front of people, but think of all the things that are in front of you already right now. You don't have a connection or relationship with them. But if you talk to one of them, now you do. And now every time you see their posts, it means something more to you because you know that person. All right, let's go to the next slide. And let me stop there real quick. Let me open up for any before I open up for this question, any questions, any feedback, any insights that you've had so far? Let me open up to our audience here. If you have any insights, any takeaways so far, anything that stood out for you, I want to go ahead and open that up for you. Let me shut this for now and then we'll continue it. Let me open up for feedback, questions, insights, takeaways already. Yep, Mary.
So thank you, Chris, for the information that you shared so far. Um, you're explaining what you meant by the direct email. Because I was going to choose to connect on social first, but then I was like, well, no, I'm going to send them an email. Hey, how you doing? And and actually have the conversation that way before connecting on social media. But you're explaining it. You helped me to clarify that, so I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Yep. Excellent. Yep. Send the direct messages. Don't make it a pitch. That's the clarification. Don't pitch them right away. They call it the pitch slap, right? You connect with them and then say, hey, here's what I do. I'm sure we can do business together. Or let me tell you all about this. Like, how do you even know I need that, right? Okay. So, all right. Excellent. Thanks, Mary. Anyone else? All right. Let's open this up. Now you should be able to answer. So what are some ways to serve others without selling them? This is the challenge that I had initially, is I didn't know what I had to offer if they didn't need my services that I was selling at the time. I had no clue. If you asked me what was my value, that would be the one thing that I said is what I was selling. So outside of what you sell and without selling, what are some ways that you can serve others? I reopened it because I saw some people were still typing. Once you're done, go ahead and hit submit. All right, excellent. Let's take a look and see. We have connecting with others, sharing your network, just listen, connect them to someone, find out their needs, engage on social, follow their social media, referrals, ask something, and share with others. These are all fantastic ways. So all of your answers are fantastic ways to serve others without selling. And these are things that oftentimes people overlook because they're so focused on what they sell and not what other people need. So these are all fantastic answers, and a huge value. So it could be other people. So basically, in our definition of networking, we define networking as building relationships so that we can share resources and create a win-win situation together. That's our definition of networking, building relationships so that we can share resources and create a win-win situation together. All other types of those connections, like I was doing in the beginning, is not networking, it's actually prospecting. So if you go into a room looking for a client, nothing wrong with that. But remember that that's probably what other people are looking for as well. And that's falls probably under prospecting more than it does networking. Networking is building relationships so we can share resources, create a win-win. Now, slowing down just a second on that, how are we going to share resources if we don't know who somebody is, if we don't know what their needs are? There's no way to share resources if we don't know who they are. So that's the starting point, is building that relationship first. And guess what? It also opens up to where they can share us as a resource. So don't each and every one of you have something valuable to offer. Don't each and every one of you help solve problems that others had. And wouldn't we all be much more successful if we simply had more people know what we do and how we can help others? Think about that. How much more successful we'd be if more people simply knew what we did. Not even doing a full sales pitch, but just more people knew what we did. And now they can share us as a resource to people that could use our products, our services, and our goods. And when we do that, we create a win-win, whether we're the ones sharing, or we're the ones that's the resource being shared, or we're the ones that have a problem that's being solved. It's a win-win-win across the board. So the relationship builder pipeline, what exactly is this? We're all familiar with the sales pipeline. So a sales pipeline starts with identifying a prospect, and we might have exposure number one, send them an email, or we might have, invite them to a presentation or invite them to a discovery session. So everyone has a pipeline for their sales process, that whether you have it itemized or not, you have a process currently. And the most successful people have a structured process so they know where their people are at. The challenge for those of you that mentioned earlier in one of the earlier slides about rejection or how to start the conversation, that's where I had some challenges, because I was worried about that rejection. And I didn't feel like everyone how do I even know they belong in my sales pipeline? So for example, let's say that I sell boat insurance. Okay, so if I sell boat insurance and I have the best boat insurance available, the best price, most comprehensive services, but you don't own a boat, it doesn't matter how great that offer is, you're not going to be interested in that offer. So how do I know if you have a boat if I never had a conversation with you? So think about that. How many people I'm going to be cold pitching and pitch slapping this awesome boat insurance that I offer, and most of the people don't have a boat. So I said, why would I have a pipeline for boat insurance instead of getting to know people? But what is the process for that? And that's what I'm going to share with you here today, is there's a process for building relationships. Now, the difference is that when we put people into a relationship builder pipeline, we don't have to worry about rejection and all that stuff, because there's no place for us to get rejected. It's authentic, it's real. We're genuinely trying to just get to know the person so we can share resources with them. Here's the steps in the relationship builder pipeline. The first step is we identify them as a prospect. Now, a prospect is simply somebody that I'd like to get to know them better, or I think they may be interested in my product, or I may be able to help them with connecting them with somebody in my network. So prospect's the same. We just an idea. We see them online, we see them in person, say, hey, I need to get to know that person. That's all it means to be a prospect at this point, for getting to know them better. So somebody you want to get to know better. Second step is connect on social media. LinkedIn is usually the one that most people will be willing to connect on, because they don't have like personal pictures. They don't have pictures of their families on there. So most of the time in the business world, most people are going to be open to connecting on social media, especially LinkedIn in our case. If you use any of the other platforms, feel free to use that too. I don't know too many people that aren't happy to have more followers and people connecting with them on social. They're always looking for that, connect with you on social, follow, all that kind of stuff. So connect on social. You get to know each other a little bit better, but not just connect with them. Now it's engage with them. How do you engage with them? And this is a part that most people are missing, is they don't engage. They don't engage. Engage with them on social media. That means look at their posts. Now think about this. Why would they post if they didn't want engagement? Anything they post, they want engagement. They want somebody to like, comment, acknowledge that they even made a post. So think about it. Even if you put a new picture up and 30 minutes and it's just crickets, you're like, oh, I wonder if people don't like it, or and then somebody pops up and says they like it, or they share a comment or something. That person is now on your radar. It's on your notification. So why not utilize a technology that's already there and get yourself seen and known? And especially on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, do you know that your headline pops up every single time you comment? So select your headline carefully, and every time you comment, it'll have your name and your headline. So it's almost like a little tiny piece of advertising for you of who you are and what you do. So so engage on social media. Now we can send a private message, and it's still not a pitch at this point. A private message could be something as simple as, "Hey, I've been following you," or "Enjoy your posts, keep up the good work," or "Look forward to knowing you better. Let me know if you're open to a call at some point," or "I love what you're doing and making impact in the community." So something that separates you from the masses on the public social media feeds. So send a private message, make it authentic to however your connection is with them, but just send them a private message. They're more likely to accept it and respond to it, because as opposed to somebody who just sends you a private message out of the blue, which you've all received, probably multiple private messages today alone from people you don't know, you're not going to respond to them. But if somebody's already been engaging with you and you see their notifications pop up regularly, you can see they're a decent person and they're a real person, you're more likely to respond on your private message. So send a private message. Your goal is to schedule a one-to-one. So that's your next step. Schedule a one-to-one with them. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. It could be as little as a 15-minute get to know you call. Hey, we've been connected, just want to get to know you a little bit better. When you have 15 minutes, love to just connect, see how we might be able to, collaborate, or just be able to help make introductions for you, just to get to learn more about your business. Now think about this. If somebody messaged you to pitch you, you're more than likely not going to be interested. But if somebody messages you because they say, "Hey, Jeff, hey, Corey, I'd like to learn more about your business. Hey, Laron, I'd just like to learn a little bit more about your business." Think about how different that comes across when they're asking about you. So you're more likely to accept that, and it's sincere, it's legit, because we're not trying to pitch them at this point because we don't even know they need boat insurance, right? We just need to know if they have a boat or not. So determine their needs. What are they looking for in their journey? Everyone's looking for something. So the cool thing about networking is that everyone has resources. That's why we love making these connections, because every single person that has resources that you don't currently have access to. So the key is, well, how do we find out what their needs are so that we have resources as well? They have resources. We can add resources to them. They can add resources. So determine what their needs are so we can make these connections to other organizations, groups, individuals that'll benefit them, or even possible clients for them as we get to know them. So that's the stage 7, where we add value to them. Is this making sense so far of the progression that we normally don't even think of? Where like maybe we do it, but we didn't think of the steps that we're doing, or there's a very good chance that we're missing some of these steps and not getting the end result from our networking efforts. So adding value to them, and then from adding value to them through these introductions, things that you shared in the last slide, now we do one of two things. So stage 8 and stage 9, either we determine they have a boat, and I'm going to put them into my boat insurance product pipeline. So I can say, hey, I can schedule another call for that, right? Or reach out and say, hey, how long have you had a boat for? Where do you like boating, or whatever it is, or who do you currently use for your insurance, or, are you happy with them? So I can move them into that boat insurance pipeline at that point, because I know it makes sense and the person has a boat and maybe like, yeah, it's so much, I don't even hardly use my boat. I use it once a year and I'm paying all this insurance. Well, let's have a conversation about that. So think about how that would apply for you to be able to move them into a pipeline after you determine their needs, and think about how much easier it is. And you know what their needs are, so you can address those pain points. You don't even need to do the long 45-minute presentation. You can do a 5-minute presentation because it directly addresses what their concern is. So on this boat thing, is like maybe they need a part-time boat insurance, or one just for recreational usage and not daily usage. I don't know. I don't really sell boat insurance, but that's just an example. So move to the product pipeline at this point, or you stay in touch. So let's say you get to all this, the person doesn't own a boat, so they're not going to fit into my hypothetical product pipeline, but I've done all these steps. You might say, oh, Chris wasted all his time. Did I? right? Did I waste my time when I now know a person, then they know me? And so I add them to the stay in touch category. So everyone that's in the stay in touch category are people that I've personally done all these things with, connected with them. I'm on social media with them. I've had a call with them. I know what they're looking for. They know a little bit about me. And so we stay in touch. And these are stronger connections now. Even if none of you met a single new person for the rest of the month, and just reached out to people that you already know but haven't talked to them in a while, or people that are already in your social media contacts but you haven't ever had a phone call with them. Think about what would happen if you just did one of these a day. And over the next 30 days, you had 30 people that you had calls with, that you got to learn more about them in 15 minutes a day. Just one person a day, just to make sure it stays top of mind and that it's uh, part of your routine every day. It's part of your to-do list every day. Is to spend at least 15 minutes and reach out and reconnect with somebody, not to sell them, but just to reach out and get to know them. And chances are there's a percentage of the people you talk to that will actually need your products and services right there as soon as you have a conversation with them. So you will increase your sales. But more importantly, there's no rejection. And these are now people that are sharing you as a resource for other people that can use it. And you can always stay in touch. So that's why that stay in touch category is important, because you actually can stay in touch. But if we're prospecting in the old method, once you get past that sales pitch, so think about if you've gone to like Sam's Club or Costco, anyone part of Sam's Club or Costco? You ever been to like these clubs, right? And then so in the beginning of the store, like at one of the first aisles, there's either usually somebody selling power, like energy or cell phones. And once you get past that person, you kind of relax. You're like, now you can enjoy your shopping. But up until you get past them, it kind of feels kind of like, how do I get through these people? And so that's what it is when we just try to pitch. People just can't wait to get through it. And then they don't plan on ever seeing us or talking to us ever again. But with this, we stay in touch. So we give ourselves the opportunity and open ourselves up for those referrals. So let me stop real quick. Questions, insights so far? Is this helpful? All good? All right, excellent. So what we did is we created a toolkit to help. So, this is a lot of stuff, right? Like, how do we keep track of all of these things? We know we have tools available, but there's like so many different tools that it gets overwhelming. So what we did is created a toolkit that has all the things that we need to do this. So the CRM, to be able to track all the contacts that we have. Like I said, if you just start with the people you personally know and didn't meet a new person, you probably have enough there to continue expanding your network just through current contacts. So think about how powerful that is, that you already have people in your network that you aren't fully utilizing because you haven't reconnected with them. You haven't, you haven't shared even what you do with them so they know how to connect you with other people that could use your services. Email automation so that we can automate a lot of the process that we wouldn't do normally. Like if you ever received a birthday greeting from a company or organization that gave you a free service or a free this or that, or getting a free ice cream or a free meal for your birthday, there's not the general manager sitting in the back room like, hey, it's Jerry's birthday today. Let me send him a free, dessert if he comes in. No, this is all automated. So if you look at it, this is already happening, but how much are you using this tool for your own businesses to help you grow? People are already using it and you're already receiving a lot of these automated messages, but think about how you can use that to stay in touch with your customers, create special offers, reminders to stay in touch, all of those things. Scheduling tools, like I talked about the electronic calendar to avoid all this back and forth emails, websites and funnel builders. So all of that is all in one kit. So usually we have so many different fragmented uh, softwares that each one has its own learning curve, each one has its own subscription cost, each one has its own login, and it easily becomes overwhelming for most business owners and entrepreneurs. So all of that is now in one platform. Reputation management to get those 5-star ratings, payments, invoice, all the things that people need are all built into one toolkit. Now, cost-wise, this is what people are spending out there. So for each of these things, we just put it on there. I won't read every single one, but just take a glance at some of these different services. Either you're using them and paying these subscriptions, or you're not using them and using this technology that's available to you. So for us, we were paying over $700 a month on all these different softwares because our website was, I think, like $20, $30 a month, and we had like multiple websites, and we had a different email program, and we had a different calendar program, we had a different invoicing program, we had a different proposal program. So all those up, you added up, we were over $700 a month. So that becomes a lot for most business owners just to have the tools, let alone figure out how to use it. So what we did is we integrated all of these, and this is based on the high level platform, which is literally one of the most robust platforms out there. And we use all the tools that help us to build stronger relationships and create community by helping us to stay in touch with one another. So instead of spending all of this and Frankensteining all these things and having another program called Zapier or something similar to it to connect all these things and put our contacts from this one into this spreadsheet. So it's just too much stuff. So this one, all of this is $99 a month, unlimited websites. So you could have 5, 10, 20 websites, landing pages. It's still just $99 a month. All of your contact management, all of the email programs, the automation tools, everything is built in for that flat rate of $99 a month. And more importantly, the way it works behind the scenes, here, let me switch screens real quick and give you a little example of how much easier it is to have a tool like this to keep track of all of your contacts. One second, let me see if I can switch. Let me know if you can still see my screen. Do you see this? Do you see the toolkit?
Yeah, it switched.
Okay. So this is our back office, and all I'm sharing is the relationship builder pipeline because that's what this training is on. Now, all the people, it's very easy to get overwhelmed with all the people that we need to stay in touch with. And back in the day, for those of you that are old enough to remember what a Rolodex was, remember the Rolodex, where you had a physical card per person that you kept track of all their information, notes, and you would take that card out, put it in alphabetical order to stay follow up with them, or if they're interested in a certain service, then you would put them into a different bucket and call those people. This is like your electronic version of that Rolodex, or kind of like as a visual, it's kind of like a post-it note. For those of you like post-it notes, so you could see and remember everything. It's like a post-it note so you don't forget, but it's all electronic, so much cleaner. Now, what we have here is, for example, like at our events, we have people attend our events. When they attend our event, we have an automation to where when they check in, it puts them into this prospect category. So you can see check-in form is the opportunity source. So we know that Jerry, for example, came to one of our events, and Jerry goes into the relationship builder pipeline. So no, we're not selling Jerry anything. He's just there because we want to get to know Jerry better, right? He's a prospect, so we want to get to know him better. Now, once we have him as a prospect, all those steps that I shared earlier are now here electronically. So as soon as either myself or one of our virtual assistant or one of our team is able to connect and connect on LinkedIn or Facebook, see how easy that is? We can just move Jerry from one category to the next. So we can easily track where they're at. So now we have all these people that are our prospects. We haven't done anything with them yet. We know we need to connect with them on LinkedIn. Here, we know that we're connected with them already, so we can start engaging with them. Here, we've already engaged with them, send a private message, scheduled a one-to-one time, determine their needs, added value to them, moved them to a product pipeline, or stay in touch. So you can see how each of these are much easier to keep track of, and it gets it out of your head and it keeps you from missing out on these opportunities. So without something like this, and then you could have the same thing for your product pipeline. So whatever products or services you offer, taking them through that process. You can also use this for delivery. So once somebody signs up or pays you, now you got to do the work. You can also use this to manage where they're at. Did you do your onboarding call, or did you get the things that you need from them to do the job for them, or whatever that is for you, whatever your delivery pipeline is. You can also use this for that to make sure that you provide great service and stay organized. Also, all of these are tagged so you can easily message. So for example, all of these people here in the engage with them on social media, with a click of a button, I can literally select all of them and send them an email to say, hey, I look forward to meeting you for a one-to-one, or let me know what your schedule looks like. Here's a link to my calendar if you want to pick something convenient for you. And then from there, they can do it. And then automatically they get the reminders for that call. And so that's just an example. You can see on this side how simple it is. We can create all of our websites in here. I know I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to wrap up.